let's bring out our first reader of the evening. He is a crowd favorite and has read at Spofest several times in the past. So, Eddie Osborne.
Well, thank you for the introduction, but you lied. I didn't write this. I write some stuff, but this I didn't write.
Well, we can have you up there then.
Okay, I'm off. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do is perform a piece written by the great Lord Buckley. Richard Buckley was a former vaudevillian, a former lumberjack, and from the pre-hipster era of the late 50s. But what he would do is take common stories and rewrite them in such a way that it, shall we say, it was entertaining. And what I'm going to do for you tonight is his version of Jonah and the Whale. My lords and my ladies of the royal court, the religious fantasy of Jonah and the Whale. Now the great Lord was sitting in his rosy rocking chair one hallelujah morning, and he looked down and observed by a great body of water a little mortal about 5'2". And the Lord dug the mortal, and he called for Gabe, and Gabe put down his horn, and he swung with the book. And the Lord flipped the pages, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. And it was Jonah getting his kicks on the beach. And he said, man, it sure is crazy out here on this hill beach. Man's got a lot of room to groove, and the sun's shining down, and everything is so melody and so fine. And when the great Lord has something to do, must be done upon the earth, he calls on his favorite children to do it. So the good Lord put the sound on Jonah. He says, I dig you, Jonah. I dig you, Jonah. I dig you, Jonah, 'cause Jonah is the Lord's sweet boy. And Jonah said, man, where is all that jazz music coming from anyway? Sounds like 72 jazz bands jumping off here. Man, makes me want to giggle and wiggle. And he says, whoa. It says, I know them seagulls ain't wailing up no breeze like that. And I know those whippoorwills and the canary birds are going to carry on. You see, I got the crazy feeling all over my body. Ooh, I feel like I want to stretch my wings and woo-wee, good morning, Lord. And the Lord said, good morning, Jonah. I said, Jonah, I got a little favor I'd like. And Jonah said, well, ain't that crazy? 96 million cats for the Lord to put his finger on, and he select Jonah. Ain't that groovy? And the great Lord said, Jonah, I want you to cross the Red Sea and put a message on the Israelites, 'cause they're squaring up over there. And Jonah said, man, you don't mean this here big pool, do you, Lord? He said, man, look at them whales. He said, you just must mean some little old Jonah-sized pool, don't you, Lord? And the Lord said, Jonah, put your nose into the wind, and a message will come to you. And so Jonah put his nose into the great wind. It was not there. He put it in the east wind. It was not there. He put it in the west wind. It was not there. But he put it in the hallelujah south wind. It was there. So he traveled for 22 days and 15 minutes and came to a great cathedral like trees, lifting up their glorious arms to the heaven in supplication to the Master. And down at the bottom of these giant sequoias, Jonah saw growing a strange green vine. And he said, just like Brigham Young, this is it. So he sat down beside it, he observed of it, he admired of it, he plucked from it, he rolled of it, he selected of it, and he swung of it. And he said, man, where is that full pool the Lord wanted me to dig? Look out, here comes Jonah, and he's as ready as the day is long. Boom. And cutting a gigantic V through the breast of the waves, and suddenly fatigue hit Jonah in the back of his soul. And he laid his great body back in the water, and he was lulling in the waves, and Morpheus was grooving on his eyebrows. And sleep came to Jonah. He slept for 12 hours and 15 seconds. And when he woke, what did he see? I'll tell you what he saw. He saw the whale. And what did he say when he saw the whale? He said, get me out of this scene immediately. And the whale said, man, every time I stick my nose up out of this pool, I sure see some crazy jazz. And this is the bending in. And Jonah said, what do you mean the bending in, Mr. Whale? He said, well, look at that. He can talk too. What do you know about that? And Jonah says, of course I can talk, Mr. Whale. Don't you dig the marine news? Ain't you hip to what's going on around these waters? And the whale said, wait a minute here. Take it easy. He said, there ain't no taking it easy, Mr. Whale. It's a big pool. You groove your way, I'll groove mine. I'll swoop the scene and dig you later. And the whale said, look at here. This ain't nothing but a little old million miles from no place. He's going to hit me, the king of the dip, to what the lick is. I got a great mind to gobble you up. And Jonah said, don't do that, Mr. Whale, because if you do, I'm going to knock you in your most delicate gear. And the whale said, that's it. Boom, and he swallowed Jonah. And there was Jonah sliding and slipping from one side of the great sea mammal to the other, fear and terror inside. He couldn't go out the front end, and he was afraid to go out the back end. And all of a sudden, he fell down on the great, thick, blubbery rugs, and a piteous sound came from Jonah. He said, Lord, Lord, can you dig me in this here fish? And the Lord said, I got you covered, Jonah. And Jonah said, man, the Lord sure got a crazy sense of humor. He said, maybe that's the reason I dig the cat so much. He tells me he got me covered. His cat's got me surrounded. And the great Lord said, Jonah, reach into your watertight pocketbook and take from there one of the cigarettes you got from the great tree, and courage will return to you. And Jonah did. And we see Jonah inside this great wheel smoking this strange cigarette. You hear the whistles pound, driving a boom, pushing on the great valve, ooh, expanding, expanded. And finally the whale said, Jonah. And Jonah say, what is it, fish? And the whale said, what is it, fish? He said, you got a new captain on this here mess now, Mr. Fish. I'm on the outside no more. I'm inside now. And the whale said, Jonah, what in the world you smoking in there? I thought I was off the Flibbity Islands, and here I is 2 minutes from the Panama Canal. This jazz got to go. And Jonah says, what do you care what I'm smoking in here? I'm the captain of this here mess. I done explained to you before. Whale said, Jonah, what are you doing stomping all over the engine room like that for, boy? Why don't you sit down someplace and cool yourself? You getting the ride for nothing. And Jonah says, I'm going to stop all over this engine room as long as I want. Say, well, what is this wheel? And the whale said, look out, boy, you messing with my downing wheel. Jonah, look out, man, don't be messing with the equipment like that there. And Jonah says, well, what is this lever here? And the whale said, look out, Jonah, boy, look out what you're doing. You got my full speed ahead lever. Jonah, look out for the rock on the right, Jonah. Cool. He said, it ain't cool at all. We in shallow water. And Jonah said, well, that's all I want to know. And he hit the whale's big sneezometer and shoo, blew him out on the cool, groovy sands of serenity. Which only goes to prove, as Confucius said so many, many years ago, Lang Zhang Zhao Dung Tang Tao Ao Zhao Zhu, which translated briefly means, if you get to it and you cannot do it, there you jolly well are, aren't you? Thank you.